Hi guys, it's Polly here from Beaten Jeans, and I just wanted to get on here and give you guys an update and fill you in on what has just happened to me this last week. I'm about 4 weeks in from my total gastrectomy, and if you remember from my last video, I ended on such a high note. In fact, my pendulum was swinging in the upward trajectory and I was feeling fantastic. But shortly thereafter and the days following, I began to get a little bit nervous about my diet. My plant-based diet was no longer, and the vegetarianism was taking over my life. I felt like all I was consuming was eggs and dairy, and I had no color in my diet. I was journaling everything, and I was obsessed with the food I was eating, trying to get all the calorie needs and the protein needs that my nutritionist had recommended. And I truly believe that this is where all my troubles began. I was, however, meeting all of my nutritional needs. I was eating upwards of 2,000 calories a day and hitting 80 to 100 grams of protein per day. In addition, I was taking all my vitamins and drinking 3 to 4 liters of water a day. I felt like I was meeting and reaching all the goals that I was intended to do. But on the inside, I just didn't feel right. I felt heavy and I felt weak and I felt tired and I felt lethargic. And I kept thinking about all the dairy that was inside of my body, and it was just weighing me down. And I just began to feel super, super tired. And it had been 5 years since I had had dairy in my diet, and dairy is very constipating in and of itself. And I don't know why I didn't think of that. But as the days ensued, I noticed that I had not been having a bowel movement. My piping got so backed up, you guys, I didn't go to the bathroom for 5 days. And because of that, the nausea just, oh my gosh, it took me over. It was so debilitating. It was not just like a normal nausea where you just had to lay down and let it pass. This was debilitating. I was dry heaving, I was gagging. I mean, there were times where I couldn't even catch my breath in between the heaves. It was the most horrible, wretched feeling I've ever experienced in my life, and I would not wish this upon anyone. I ultimately was admitted to the hospital. I spent a day in the ER and then 4 days on a unit where they were filling me from top to bottom with PO medications to make me go to the bathroom, and liquids and suppositories to make me go to the bathroom. And then I had IV pills and PO pills to help with the nausea, and none of it seemed to be working. I was literally in the fetal position for 5 days of... It was probably the lowest, darkest place I have ever been in my entire life. In the end, the doctors never really did come up with a conclusion as to why I became so nauseated. I mean, they assumed that it was because I was backed up, but I never really did have a complete evacuation. The CAT scan showed at the end on my last day that there wasn't any more fecal matter inside of me. However, I never did go to the bathroom, so it's all kind of a mystery. My diagnosis upon discharge was abdominal pain, which I think is absolutely ludicrous because I never had abdominal pain once. My tummy was completely fine in that regard. I only had the debilitating nausea. So I don't know why these doctors coded it as such. The bottom line is that we all need to listen to our bodies. I mean, this is something that I've been telling myself from the beginning that I was gonna do. I was gonna rest when I needed to rest, push when I needed to push, you know, listen to every little bit that my body was telling me to do, and I failed my body. And when I was eating all that dairy and all those eggs, my inside myself, I just knew that it was not the right thing to do, but I kept doing it because I wanted to meet those dietary goals and follow all the rules. But the funny thing is that I just don't think that there really are any rules. I think that this is such an individual journey, and that we need to do what's best for each of us. So what's right for me might not be right for you. And it's clear to me now that this dairy is just not going to work for my body. I do think that it is so important to keep that journal and to log down everything that you're eating. So when you do have something such as what I just went through, you can go back and look and follow and see. And I was able to see that I hadn't gone to the bathroom. And I was also able to see, oh my gosh, the majority of my diet is like 90% dairy. No wonder why I'm so backed up. And I was able to piece all that together and count the days that I had been since I'd gone to the bathroom. But had I not journaled, I could see how that might have gotten fumbled and mumbled, and I may not have been able to put 2 and 2 together. So I think it's really important, especially in the beginning, to keep that journal of what you're eating and what you're doing. I am so grateful that I established care with a local GI doctor here before my gastrectomy, and also that I was able to get IV infusions in case I needed them. Both of those things did come in handy during all of this. I did get the IV infusions before I went to the emergency room because I just wanted to try that before I went to such a drastic step. They did give me some anti-nausea medication, and I was able to avoid the emergency room for 1 day, but I did end up having to go ultimately, and thank goodness it was a hospital where my local GI doctor goes, so I don't have to forward any of my hospital stay to her. She was there with me every single day I was in the hospital. She checked in on me. I actually have a follow-up appointment with her in 2 days. And she's also sharing all this information with the NIH. It was so nice to not have to rely on the hospitalists and other doctors that aren't familiar with gastrectomy and even CDH1. So I was really, really grateful to have her in my wheelhouse and to have her there in the hospital with me. So if you guys are headed down this path and you don't have a local GI doctor, I do highly recommend you guys get one. And although I did have this bump in the road, it felt more like a divot in the road, to be honest with you. I'm sure that with each one going forward, I will get stronger and wiser, and I will learn more about my body and what it needs. The last 2 days since I've been home from the hospital, I've spent in bed just resting and hydrating and taking care of my body, slowly adding a little bit more nutrition here and there, and I'm feeling better and stronger every day. In fact, today I was even able to get up and go on a walk with my little weighted vest out in the sun, and I'm feeling a lot more energized and less weak. And I think that's just important, to listen to ourselves, listen to our bodies. And I want to thank you guys all for all of your prayers and worries while I was in the hospital. It really did help to lift my spirits, just knowing that I had the group of you cheering me on by my side. I had so many questions from all of you about what happened, so I just really wanted to clear the air and share with you guys what happened to me. But I also hope that moving forward in the future, that my experience might help somebody else going forward. And even though we're all on a different trajectory, sometimes our paths cross and we can offer a bit of advice. And I appreciate all the advice and wisdom that you guys have all given me this past week. It's been a tremendous help, and I appreciate and love all of you, and thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next video. I do want to give a special shout out to my nurse Daniel, who took excellent care of me. Daniel, without you, I don't know how I would have survived that stay in the hospital. You were amazing, and you took such wonderful care of me. Thank you so much.